Hello, everyone, and welcome to another spoiler review. This time we are reviewing Those Who Wish Me Dead. It just jumped on HBO Max this weekend. It's also available in theaters. I am your host, Dana Abercrombie, also the entertainment editor over at thecoalition.com. I am joined by Mr. Joey Polanco. Hello,
How's
Joey.
how's it going?
Good. And I am also joined by Mr. Chris Seeley. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How's everyone?
Good, good, good.
Doing
Hanging in there.
good, hanging in there. Weather's all nice and cute, so doing much better. So yeah, let's just kind of jump right into this. In case you didn't know, this is basically a movie that stars Angelina Jolie. She's back in her action thriller days, and she's basically a firefighter, you could say, who is two separate stories. She's a firefighter dealing with her own little weird trauma that's going on with some dead kids. And then we also have this boy. He's around 11 years old. He has a dad who was basically a lawyer. It kind of seems like for a mob or some really bad people. And so they're running around killing everyone that has connections to them. And the boy's father is next on that list. And these two paths kind of intersect. So let's just start off with the top. Mr. Joey, what did you think? Give your really quick thoughts at first. What was going on?
Well, very quickly, I did enjoy it. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't love it, and I did love the score. That's quick thoughts.
Oh, okay. Mr. Seeley?
I thought the movie was bad. I thought the story was disjointed. I thought it suffered from too many characters. I'll get into that later. And for a title called "Those Who Want Me Dead," and
Wish
you'd
me.
think it would be about those who wish me dead, and the main character is not the one who is wished dead. As a matter of fact, she has very little screen time or anything to do with the main plot. That was a little misleading.
Yeah, yeah.
Very true. So let's just kind of dive into, well, let me just say, I thought that it was an okay movie. Like,
Hmm.
I thought it was good for you to watch at home. If I
Yeah,
would have
yeah,
seen this in the theater, I'd have been a little upset. But to watch at home at your own pace, that's a good thing. There are parts, there's pacing problems. As you guys mentioned, the title is kind of weird. It's based off a novel, so that, I guess that's why they kept the title the way it is. But I did have issues with the title as well. I had some issues with the pacing, and I kind of had some issues with making the story making me care about these characters. I need something more than dead kids. But
yeah. I think one of the issues I had with this movie is that half of it is just people getting into cars and driving.
mm,
It's like there's one scene. It's like, hey, okay, we're gonna do this X, Y, and Z. We're gonna get in the car and drive off. It's like, all right, wait, I can't even process everything you guys are saying right now. I feel like this was a movie that would have been good in the late 80s, 90s, like a little small, low. To me, it felt low budget. I don't know if it was or not, but I was like, compared to this director's other movies, which is still neo westerns and stuff like that, I'm just like, yeah, this feels like something he did on the side while he was focusing on other bigger
Well,
projects.
this was done better in the 90s. It was called Cliffhanger.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, with real fire.
And you had the same kind of terrorist. You had a guy who had a tragedy while he was rescuing people, and
Mhm.
then he gets involved with that. That movie had fewer characters. It was really focused on Stallone versus John Lithgow, the terrorist, and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Whereas this movie, it's like, oh, Angelina Jolie. Oh, look at that. She's this super firefighter. She parachutes into danger, and oh, this is tragedy, but we don't know what it is because her flashback cuts off before we get an explanation. And then that flashback means about jack all at about 60% into the movie when we really focus on the kid. And it's like, and then she's like, well, shit, I got struck by lightning. I guess I don't care about my trauma anymore. So let's
What
just keep going.
What's hilarious there is, like, for example, this scene when she jumps off, uh, uh, climbs on the rope and jumps off and lands, and then it just cuts like it just did right now to this story, and
Yeah.
it's like this lady's spending more time hurting herself than the plot. Like, there's nothing
Oh,
going
yeah.
on with this woman for half the movie.
Well, I know they wanted to make her look tough, but like if you want to do scenes like John Rambo getting injured because he got shot and he has to sew up his arm or something, that means something. She's constantly pouring hydrogen peroxide on her feet and on her hands, and I'm like, what are you doing to yourself? Well, like, did you need to jump out of the tower? Did they not construct it for this purpose?
I asked the question. I asked that same question because the rod is at the top of the
Yes, that's
cabin.
what it's for. Like, and
Yeah,
she's like, oh, why didn't you just go inside and get down?
I and then the crazy. I know. The crazy thing is, I know there's a little later in the movie when she tells the boy, she finds the boy as she's doing her Lara Croft thing and pouring peroxide on herself. And she's like, come back with me. We could go to the tower and we could call anyone you want. We could call for help. And then as soon as she comes in, she's like, well, the lightning fried everything inside. I'm like, but didn't you know that already? That's why you're not in it. I'm confused. I'm like, wait, so why did we come back?
It's so silly. So I mean, let's circle back to the beginning. So I
Yeah.
mean, the movie starts good enough. Like you have the two guys, and they're pretending to be gas main
Yeah.
inspectors, and they go
Right.
into this big mansion. And you know what's good? As soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh, this lady's dead. Which is, oh yeah, come on in my house. I'm like, lady, you're dead. These people look bad. I don't trust them. And then of course they come out. It's like, oh, you got a little blood on your shirt, and the house blows up. I'm like, yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah.
And then they go, oh, we have to drive to Jacksonville. And I was like, wait, aren't you in Fort Lauderdale? Why would you drive to Jacksonville? When in the next scene, they take a freaking Learjet to wherever the sticks that she lives in. I'm like, wait a minute. You couldn't afford a plane to get up to Jacksonville, but you could fly into like North Dakota or wherever this shit is taking place?
Actually, the funny you bring those two guys up because there's one scene that messes up this entire movie for me, which is the scene when obviously spoilers. This is a spoiler cast.
Spoiler.
When you see Tyler Perry as their boss, and it's like, okay, so you guys are like an organization, but you can't just bring more guys here. So ironically, at the end of the movie, sorry to jump into the end, when the boy's just like, what's gonna happen tomorrow, next month, or whatever, when like I'm like, yeah, kid, I think you're dead. I mean, tomorrow they'll just bring another set of people. You're done. So I'm like, we didn't really resolve anything in this movie.
Yeah, there's one thing I don't like in movies is where the story pushes the characters along instead of the other way around. And then there's a lot of plot convenience. So these guys had to drive to Jacksonville so that the father could see on the news that his buddy blew up and then panic and get in his car and try to drive to see Shane because he's apparently the only one in America who could save him from the CIA hunting him down. And I assume they're spooks because he said he tells his son when he writes that note that he's like, all this information could bring down governors and senators. So I'm like, okay, here we go. So this is some CIA guys hunting him down or some shit.
But
Because
here's, oh, sorry.
yeah, no, go ahead.
No, but the weird thing is they never really clarify.
They don't.
The
I
group.
only assume that because the way Tyler Perry was dressed, I was like, if this was like a mafia dude, if this was Goodfellas and stuff, he wouldn't come in like looking like that. He looked like a man in black meeting them, right? And then the way they were armed and the way they were prepared and how they handled themselves, not only these guys professionals, they seem like they're former military, how they act and operate. So I
Yeah,
got the impression they were CIA or some sort of wet works guys and not mafia.
yeah. Especially the scene when they change and they put their fake badges on before going to I'm gonna call him Shane because I don't know his name in this movie. Shane's place, his wife's place. Yeah, they change into these outfits and they got these realistic looking badges and stuff like that. And I'm just like, so you guys can't bring more people? I'm confused.
Well, that was the whole argument throughout the whole scene when Littlefinger was like, "We need more people."
Yeah, and he did. Yeah, and he did bring this up, but it was just so. Again, everything was all convenience. Like for example, if this woman didn't drive and got shot, he would have never knew anything happened here. He would have drove past this entire place. Movie
Yeah,
would have went on.
for professionals, that was very stupid. They just parked her on the side of the road and took off. I'm like, for anyone to find her, which he did in 5 minutes later, he drove there.
But then they also comment on how sloppy it is. Because remember,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, we don't have no time. This is a sloppy job.
Yeah, but
He just
yeah.
left her there.
I mean, why didn't he just steal her truck and drive off with it to the airfield or wherever it was and dump her there?
Why don't you just drive it off that same cliff?
Yeah,
There
or
you
just
go.
drive it into the woods or in the creek or whatever. Nobody would see it.
I'm just, yeah, yeah. And then after all this happens, then it's like, oh, hey, Angelina Jolie's in this movie. Oh, she is. I forgot. Like, oh yeah.
I thought it did a good. The thing is that it had a strong cast. So you have Nicholas Hoult. You got you got Beast. You got Thena. You got Punisher, Medea, Littlefinger, and then the dude who was in Star Trek Discovery as the dad who has like what 1 to 2 minutes on screen. So this is to me seems like it's a very strong cast that they managed to not do much with.
Right. But here's the thing, like Jolie seemed bored in this movie. Like for someone who
boring actress.
Yeah, but here's the thing, like at least have some range. You're a firefighter who is dealing with trauma that is causing you to act suicidal, right? And take up a job that is probably more dangerous than the one you had jumping out of planes into fires. Now you're dealing with lightning, which will literally kill you if you just take a piss in the wrong place where you are. So just that alone, she acts totally normal. She's having a barbecue and it's like, oh, the good old boys, and they're throwing horseshoes and shit, and she's drinking a beer, and then she decides to parachute off the back of a truck, which I think she would do anyway, even if she didn't have some psychological trauma. She just seems like, oh, just do this shit now. That's the scene. That's how we're introduced to her. It's like, shouldn't she be brooding? Shouldn't she be like at the party and they're like, hey, come on, have a beer, and she should be like, no, I'm gonna go up to my fire tower, fuck you guys, and just go up there and brood and cry, and then lightning strikes, and maybe she goes stands outside and waits for it to hit her, and it doesn't hit her. Wouldn't that have been more interesting?
But here's the thing, to me, I thought that they did well with what they had. They showed the moments when she is by herself crying, and it shows the flashbacks of the kid. Then it does show her acting reckless.
Yes,
And
but why
then-
is she crying, Dana? Why is she crying?
Because
Who are they? Her kids?
Here's the thing: as a firefighter, your goal is to save people, right? Especially children.
But did she save them? We didn't.
She
Hey,
literally
listen.
could. But
There's a rule in movies. If you don't see the body, they ain't dead. Right?
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're dead. The whole thing was engulfed in fleeting.
But we're supposed to assume they're dead. Also, her buddy lit up on fire because he decided to run into the fire instead of putting his tinfoil blanket on. Like, he just lost his nerve, and then so he was burning, and then she sees these kids.
The kids, but then the tree came, and all you heard was like, ah, and then she's like, oh.
Well, listen, if this movie is supposed to have some gravitas, remember, we saw his father take like 30 bullets to the back, but yet they couldn't show a tree burning fall on some kids. Even if you do the shot where it's just the tree falling and you just assume they're, at least it would show us them getting smushed by the burning tree, and it's like, oh, that sucks. Okay, I can understand why she's scarred. But then her buddy was on fire. I'm like, are we supposed to feel bad for this guy?
Because he took off purposely running. The kids were running from out of danger and ended up in a bigger thing of danger.
Yes, but if you had that plot, if I was directing this, wouldn't this be a great scenario to have her trying to save her buddy, but she has to make a choice between saving the kids or saving her buddy, and maybe she chose the burning guy and they died because of her? Wouldn't that make this have more impact? Like, oh, I didn't save the children, I saved this jerk off, and maybe he's burned at the barbecue. And it's like, I saved this asshole and I didn't save those kids, and I'm sad now.
Yes, but it does show that the kids are dead though, and that she couldn't get to them because remember, they're running down the hill. There's this big slope. She has the guy who's screaming and burning on one side. The kids are running down. The trees are falling, by the way, and she couldn't get to them in time to scoop them up and like at least throw them a blanket or something.
Right.
So it was just it was a lot. Because here's also what you forgot, and this is the big point that they mentioned: the wind direction changed.
That's true.
That's true. Yes, and the wind direction also changed at the end of the movie, which she outran easily with no equipment. I just want to point that out. Yeah, you have to be consistent in movies. If you are not able to save people in a fire in the middle of the day, fully equipped with a team, and the wind changes and it burns them. But yet you and a boy who are completely unprotected in the middle of the night, you can't see anything but with the light of the fire that is now chasing you at 30 miles an hour. Usain Bolt couldn't outrun that fire, but they did and made it to the creek. So, I mean, you have to be consistent.
But maybe she predicted the wind might change. See, the trauma of the past saved her in
Yes.
the future.
And also, I don't know if you've ever tried to judge running 100 yards in the dark. That's pretty much impossible. She's like telling this kid, "Oh, just run 100 yards to the left to the creek." I'm like, "Bitch, where's 100 yards? Like, point to a landmark. Tell me the tree that looks like, looks like it has an arm over there pointing to the creek, and I'll run to that. Don't tell me run 100 yards. It's not a football drill. I'm about to die."
Ironically, the kid. There was one scene when they're on
the fire tower.
Yeah, when they're on the tower, there was a scene that I was like, all right, I'm getting some feels here. When she's questioning him and she says, something happened to his dad and stuff, and he's crying and stuff. I'm like, all right, I got some feels there. But he takes out the paper. He's like, are you someone I could trust? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, the first person you see.
Well, that's what bothered you. What bothered me was the fact that she just randomly saw a kid and started chasing him down.
Plot convenience.
Yeah. That was crazy. Like, you see a random kid and then you're upset that he's running away from you.
I think it would have been more realistic if like a bear got the kid.
And then she came in and
think about it. Like, you're just in the middle of nowhere. Like, what's up? Arr. It's like,
there was no animals, like, really.
You had a horse. You had one horse.
Oh, you had one horse, which is also convenient. There was no other horses. It's one horse in a field, empty field, and then the dad gets worried. And I think, and Joey brought up a great point. It's like, what do you think? The CIA guy's going to pop out of the horse, or like he's like pissing himself, like, get away from the horse! Oh my God, get in the car!
The music amps up, and I'm like, why are we afraid of this horse? Like, what's going on here? I'm thinking sniper from afar.
Yeah,
guy's dead. I'm like, it's just a horse. And I'm like looking at the scene like, am I missing something? Something wrong here? No, just a horse.
I know. If you do a fake scare, it has to be a legit fake scare. It's like he'd have to see something or see someone in the distance and then panic. Don't panic over a horse, dude. If you saw someone in the background, maybe they're acting weird, like, oh shit, maybe it's a sniper. I don't know. We got to go, get in the car. You slap the kid in the head. No time for horses, son. We got to get out of here. We're going to die.
Horses.
And then they get in the car and they drive off, which is half of this movie. It's just wide shots of people driving. I'm like, all right, cool. This is what we're doing.
Oh, there was a lot. Yeah, there was a lot of that. Yeah, that was a good point.
So was there anything?
Sorry.
No, go.
No. He met his boss at the diner. All right, cool. We're gonna do this thing. Are you sure? Cool. Yeah. Back to a car. Drive off. I'm like, all right, this is just what we're doing all day. This could have been a phone call.
Was there anything that you guys did like?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll let Joey go first.
Well, to me, ironically, not the movie itself, but the score. To me,
okay.
Brian Taylor, which he also did Far Cry. He did one of the Avengers movies, a few other. I felt a lot of Far Cry in this score for this movie, but this I didn't hate it. I just thought it was pretty average. It was fine.
It was average.
I'm gonna forget it in a week.
Chris.
Yeah, there was little moments. I thought that, who was the main assassin guy?
The little finger.
Finger.
I need
Yeah.
to name.
I don't know. I know Nicholas.
Nicholas Hoult.
The young guy. Yeah, the young guy. I didn't know the other guy is name. But okay, so they acted pretty well. Like, I thought in terms of giving good performances, like you got good performances from them. Jon Bernthal, who's I don't know who the sheriff. Did he have a name?
Jon Bernthal had a name.
Yeah, I don't know. I just call him Shane. Yeah, and then the lady who played his wife, and the kid did well, and
Gunnar.
Yeah, so they did well. Angelina Jolie just phoned this in. If she could have had Nicolas Cage's fucking deal from Willy's Wonderland, she probably would have taken it. Do I need to talk? Can I just get a paycheck and just show up in here? Like it, she just had no range in here. It's just like she was bored, and also the amount of screen time she has was minimal. You saw the two assassins way more than you saw her, and
Mhm.
so it was like, whose movie is this? So the kid is the target, and the title of the movie is supposed to be about him. And you see her a little in her trauma, but it's not a big deal because she really is not on screen a lot, and she doesn't do a lot. And I would say like the more interesting thing would have been to make Jay Barenthal's wife the main character, the one who ran the survival school, the one
Right.
who would know how to survive in the woods, the one who would maybe know what to do in a lightning storm and not run in it and get down
Allison.
like it was a drill.
Mhm.
Like, do something smart, like just stay on the ground and hope you don't die. But instead, we just had way too many characters, and they could have been condensed. Jay Barenthal should have just been the sheriff. He shouldn't have been answering to old redneck guy who was eating pancakes for half the movie and just got shot in the face when he actually had to do something. It should have just been him. He should have just been the sheriff and in charge, and he makes the decisions. And he could do a little more than answering to guys all the time. So it didn't give him much to do, but what he had to work with, he did well. And I think the thing that would have made more sense, because honestly, who was fighting that fire at the end of the movie? Nobody.
No, no one.
Nobody
They
helped
get
them.
there later, but
Yes, when
Nature.
there's daylight, is that usually how you fight fires? You just wait till the sun comes up? It's like, just let it burn. I can't
well, they
see out
used it
there.
as a distraction, so I don't think that that's why they. It
Yes, but that's
spread
not how
really
things
quickly.
work. Like, where's her team? Where's the people? Where's the helicopters with spotlights to go, holy shit, the forest is burning down, and nobody's there until the morning. They come in the morning. Oh shit, check the fire tower. And
Well,
come on.
Well, it's assumed that everyone all rushed there when the
I
fire
know
started.
Pepino at one point he did make a comment when the two guys had him at gunpoint where he was just like, well, helicopters should be here within an hour. I'm like, anyone could just look up. Like, you should be seeing the clouds from
Yeah.
miles away.
Also, I found it odd that Jay Barenthal saw the fire from his house, but yet she was up in the fire tower, like, okay, let's go, and she didn't see the fire until they were next to it. They were literally
Yeah,
walked and stopped and went, well, we can't go that way.
yeah, it's down the street. Oh,
It's like you
can't
didn't
do
see
this
that
one.
before.
You can't do it. We gotta turn around. And the boy is like, you sure? Like, what the? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
go
You're gonna
ahead.
die in there.
Yeah, go ahead. Try your luck, buddy. Like, this is not even
Uh,
trauma at this
but
point. It's like you
yeah.
can't get through that. It's like, what are
so
you doing?
so yeah, it had
Mhm.
moments. I thought the setup, and actually, like, honestly, the setup with the bad guys, every one of them did well in their roles, but you shouldn't be like rooting for the bad guys. Like, they're the ones who are putting in the best work in this movie. It's like, I don't want the kid to die, but somebody work harder in here to make me root for you surviving, because they're putting in all the work.
Right.
That and that's why I say, like, I think the scene with Tyler Perry, the one scene with Tyler Perry, I'm like, you could have removed this and made this plot so much smaller. But now I'm thinking on a grand scale
I
of
thought it
like,
was going to be like a huge, we're
yeah, I'm
bringing in
like,
people.
okay, so there
Because
should
he
be a
keeps telling them,
sequel
we
now.
need more people.
Yeah, and Tyler Perry, it's funny because when I first saw Tyler Perry, I named him Addicts Cross.
Hmm.
When I saw him appear, I'm just like, okay, you're in the middle of like, it was like a truck stop area.
Yeah.
And when they made it a big deal when they were like, oh, you're actually meeting him in person, like he's coming here. I'm thinking like red carpet. You see me in a lair. Yeah, we're in a truck stop. He's like, yeah, you're limping. I'm like, oh, I was expecting like, okay, oh, cool, I guess. Weird, very weird, all around.
And I thought he would kind of have a monologue where he at least explains things.
Like why he wants to get that.
Like, why do you want to get it? What is in the note? What is going on? Not even at the end, we didn't even get like a recap of like him going on TV and saying whatever.
Well, what's funny was Angelina Jolie glanced at the page, didn't even look at the second page, and was like, okay, like that's
Yeah.
was
She just
Arby's
gives it.
menu. What's on there? Like
She doesn't even
coupons?
have an expression. Her expression did not change. She read the note and went, "Yeah, that's cool. You're screwed." This looks bad. I don't understand it. And honestly, like, here's the thing: the kid doesn't have solid evidence. Like, if you think about it, they got the guy's laptop because he bailed from his house, right? Super fast.
Mhm.
Didn't even lock his computer. So they got his computer. They got his evidence. They have his files. They ripped open his drawer, and there's all his paperwork. So it's like this kid just has a handwritten note. Anybody could write that note. He gets on TV and said, "My dad wrote this note," and all these guys are implicated. It's like, dude, how do you know you didn't write that note?
It could have been instructions to find the evidence, like a key.
Right, and you're sure that his house didn't blow up later?
No, here's the thing. They didn't even like try to attempt to blow it up or at least do that. Because remember, they went through both homes. They went through the sheriff's home and they went through the other guy's home. And they said, oh, he left in a hurry.
Yeah, but we don't know. They didn't torch his house or whatever. We
No,
have
they
no
didn't.
idea.
They didn't torch the house.
Or they didn't send in like other guys to just take his computer and his papers and shit because they took his
remember,
computer.
it was just those two. It was just those two who were apparently signed to this case.
Anyway, like I said, okay, so there's a giant plot hole that doesn't make any sense.
Well, here's also a little thing as well. The budget was $20 million. Pretty decent for $20 million, and you know the fire was CGI. Basically, that's where they spent the majority
so that means
of the budget.
18 million went to the actors.
The two assassins are brothers, which I wish they would have explored that a little bit.
Brother-in-law.
Well, brother-in-law. Well, still,
Yeah.
you can see your brother-in-law. Same last name. So, yay for that. I thought that, I know you guys didn't like Angelina. I thought that she was kind of good in this. Like, remember, she's always doing those period pieces or like a woman who's always on a verge of something and she's always depressed or she's trying to have a British accent. You know, the last time that we really saw her be fun was in, what was it, Mr. and Mrs. No, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, or remember Wanted. She was like really just, no, you did not like Wanted either?
No. It's just that was kind of a long time ago. That's why I was like, damn.
Yeah,
but she kind of did. All her period pieces was like, you know, oh, I love you, Mr. Thomas.
I feel like she didn't do bad. It's just that this script had nothing for her. There wasn't much for her to do. And I know this movie was an hour and a half, but I feel like there's a Snyder cut here somewhere because there's an hour missing here where I'm just like, there should be more to these bad guys than what's already here. Like the way we were just jumping and she's over here dodging lightning. I just feel like there was so many gaps in between that I'm just like something was missing here.
Yeah, it did feel that way, but I thought that she wasn't bad.
Yeah.
If you just look at it as a quick throwaway movie, like you said, a side project.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a decent side project. It took a little while. It was just, it focused mainly on the action, which is let's just run through fire the entire time.
Yeah.
So if you look at it from that standpoint, I thought it did okay. The part where she did the parachute jumping from the back of the car, I thought that it was like, hey, look at me and look at the roles that I now want to take now. I'm fun. I divorced Brad Pitt. Woo! New woman, new dude, new me. So I just kind of thought of it as like an exciting, fun role where she's able to relax before she steps and we see her in Eternals.
It's funny because I could picture like the director coming in. Angelina Jolie is like, all right, you ready? Bring out the peroxide. All right, and action. Like that's what she's doing 80% of the movie.
Right.
I'm trying. I thought it was okay.
I thought it was okay as well.
The two killers did a good job. I thought that they were pretty decent and okay with that. I love the fact that Punisher was in it, Jon Bernthal. I wish again he had more. It was like one of the main leads.
Yeah. I thought everyone did well. It's just that
it was meh.
Even when they tried to rush information, when the father's in the car with the child, he's like, you know what I do for a living? You're a financial accountant or forensics accountant or whatever. And he's like, yeah, and I saw something I wasn't supposed to. And I'm like, okay, give me a little more.
Like maybe if they would have shown him discovering what he wasn't supposed to discover,
No, like it could have been something simple like. Oh, sorry.
No. Just to me, I thought I didn't know what was going on or why he was even running. And aside from, I saw something I wasn't supposed to. I need a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, did you find out something about the mayor? Did something big happen? Because by the end of this movie, I'm like, I don't care about this little kid.
Yeah.
No offense. I'm like, I don't really care for this kid right now.
Oh, I felt the same way. And here's the problem. Like I said, every other actor seemed to be putting in like 100% into, even Jay Bernthal, they're putting 100%. I feel like Angelina Jolie was like, I got a pour peroxide on my feet, throw a horseshoe, like just look bored. And I don't feel you needed her name to push this movie. I feel like you could have did without her and just condensed her character into Jay Barenthal's wife and made her the main character. Because here's the thing, someone who runs a survival school and you have spooks chasing you trying to kill this kid, and also here's the thing, she has a connection to the kid. She's technically his aunt because Jay Barenthal is the brother of this guy's wife, the forensic accountant. So she would be related to him in a way, right? So wouldn't she have the emotional connection, like, oh, I got to save my nephew. Oh, by the way, I run a survival school and I can fucking just go in the woods and shoot you from 300 yards. She's shooting
on a horse.
trained guys. Yeah, she's on a horse. She rides a horse out to the woods in the dark and takes out this guy, this trained spook. She takes him out. And then Angelina Jolie gets her ass beat. And if it wasn't for the kid coming back, because if he had listened to her, she'd be dead, right? And then he would be dead. Nicholas Hoult would have found him later and killed him.
The only connection they made is just that John. It's crazy. We're quoting his real name. I don't even know his name in the movie.
John. Oh, it wasn't it. Sugar fart.
The only connection they made was that Angelina Jolie was his ex.
Yeah, that's the connection to him, and
yeah,
it's like a throwaway line. Yeah,
it was one sentence. It's like, all right, cool. We want to explore that a little bit, or we're just all right, cool.
Yeah, and again, I hate it because a lot of this could have been explored if you weren't paying her salary to have her name sell this movie. It's like condense the characters down. This could have been, you could have had Jay Barenthal as top billing if you wanted. You had enough star power in there. You didn't need her. Condense her character into the survival school lady, and that would have been a way more interesting movie. And the firefighters are just there. In the beginning, they're just like, "Woo, yeah, we're getting drunk. Look at us," you know. And then later,
the kids.
So the rowdy like middle America guys, and then later they calmly helicopter into the tower after the fire's done and go, oh, I guess we're late.
now question there, the guy who ran off and got burned died, correct?
I'm assuming he died. Yeah.
So wouldn't this team also have some grief and things they're going through as well?
But that's why they're all loud and extra rowdy, to mask the pain. Like a man.
Well, they never talk about this, dude. It's only her having the flashbacks. They're pretty much having a good time 100% of the time. There's never a somber moment with them.
Which is why John comes up to her and says, like, hey, you can hide it from these guys, but you can't hide it from me about what went on. And I'm just like, was everyone else not there? I'm confused. Well, I think we were all there.
Yeah.
So, and also that horseshoe throw thing, that was CGI. I call bullshit on that one. She did it. It looked like it curved. I'm like, all right, that was not one take. That's CGI.
Oh, goodness.
1 million of the budget went to that shot.
So speaking of the CGI, did you guys? I guess it was just mainly fires and horseshoes
and the lightning,
and the one lightning.
Well, no, there was the field of lightning,
which
should have killed her. I mean, she got
hit
by lightning, and she literally walks it off, and goes and puts peroxide on her feet because I guess it scorched her feet.
Oh no, it missed her.
She kept saying it missed her, but the way how they filmed it really looked like she was dead.
I mean, look, electricity doesn't work. Nothing in this movie works as it should. So the lightning would have hit her, even if incidentally it hit the ground. Like some part of it would hit her. That's high voltage, and also her feet were burned, so it didn't miss her.
Yeah, I think that was from her being near it that it burned her feet.
Yeah, and that's all she walked away with. Like literally, your heart would stop. Like at best. Not to mention the amount of damage she would have had burns all over her. But okay, it's a movie, so she walks it off or whatever. But it's so ridiculous. Like, what kind of advice is it? It's like, okay, you're gonna run till I tell you to stop. It's like, what? What?
I
Why?
don't know. What was that, like a science thing?
No, that sounds like horrible advice. Like,
But wait,
why
maybe
wouldn't
they
it
was
be
going
like,
by like the count of the thunder or something. Like it hits these are no.
no,
No.
that's ridiculous because the
Beat.
lightning was right there. You don't
Yeah.
have time to count between that bolt coming down and the sound. Like, you're right there. So the best thing you would have to do in a field like that is to get down to the ground and hope it doesn't hit you.
Yeah.
There's no way you are running and surviving that.
I thought once it like crackles and then it's like 5 seconds till it hits. I didn't get that part.
No, you could count between the sound and the light and the sound to measure the distance, but it was right there. It was just
It
like
was right
bam in
there.
your face.
Sheesh.
Yeah. So
It,
for that kid, when it hit the ground, I would have been like, "Yo, I'm out. I'm going that way. I don't know what you're doing." So she's like, "No, we got to make it across." Do we know? I don't think. One thing that did upset me at the end was when the rescue team did come and they found the pregnant woman and John there. He's like, "Yeah, we're calling a medic," and she's like, "You don't have to rush." I'm like, "Damn, lady, like, let me try. Never know."
he was dead the whole night. Because didn't he also get shot? Because I don't think
He was
got shot
bleeding.
multiple times.
Yeah, he was
he
bleeding.
was shot. The smoke and everything, and it was
He
like
hard him check that one. Yeah, he got it. He got it a few times.
it was like a sad little visual of all the dust and him just like dead,
Yeah.
little crying, and she's in shock. That was a sad part. I felt for that more than the burning kids.
Yeah, but I also that's where plot convenience comes in, because when they came down, it's like, oh hey, there's a lady and a kid over there too. I'm like, all right, I get them. Like, what? It just took 10 seconds. It just took 10 seconds. Like, you would have never seen this kid. Yeah.
The hate for this movie.
No, and it's weird because it's like, this is fine. Like, this is a movie my dad would watch and be like, "Oh, this is fine." It's like, yeah, this is a little. In a week, I'm gonna forget about this. If I saw this in a movie theater, I'll be pissed.
Yes, I'd have been angry. It was
this was
slightly boring.
This should have been a straight to Netflix movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
Any other grievances?
Yeah, I think we cited them all. I mean, this just suffered from mismanagement of budget. I think mostly, like,
It was only 20 million.
yeah, but that 20 million could have gone to the other actors. Boot Angelina Jolie, flesh out the relationship with the father and son, flesh out what the father did, film the scene where he finds the dirt on whoever it is, and talks to the DA guy so we can have a connection with him, because you showed a house blowing up. These guys walk out like, haha, we got to drive to Jacksonville. We're evil. And then the house blows up. And it's like, who was in there? Or should we care? Something happened, right?
Mhm.
And then so the guy watches it on TV. It's like, oh, I gave it to the DA guy. We don't even see his face. He was in the shower apparently, and he got blowed up. So, I mean, come on. And it's like, all I could think of while I was watching it is like, we don't have these scenes because you had to pay her like $9 million or whatever just to show up and throw horseshoes and act slightly concerned about fire and lightning.
Oh dear. And also a really quick clarification: she's not a firefighter. She's a smoke jumper.
What's the difference?
See, no one watched Playing with Fire.
No, she mentions to the kid that she's a firefighter.
Well, it said that she was a smoke jumper.
But she literally says to him she's a firefighter.
She said
it
she's
in
a
the movie.
firefighter.
But the description was like, no, it made sure that it was a smoke jumper.
Well, something's
Well,
wrong
then
there.
somebody
Smoke
should have.
jumpers can be firefighters.
Yeah, but she didn't say that to the kid. Wouldn't that be cool? Like, I'm a smoke jumper. I jump out of planes into.
So the
fires?
kind of difference between firefighter and smoke jumpers is that they're trained in wildland firefighter. So you have like your house is burning, regular New York City firefighter. And where they're out is out in the country, where you saw is just rural. And that's what they deal with, that kind of landscape. And they call that a smoke jumper.
But she still failed.
She failed she did not fail. The children died because they ran in the wind changed and it got swooped up in like a fire tornado thing. So she couldn't even help them if she wanted to.
Well, I just say that's a tomato situation.
Okay.
Somebody's fighting fire in the woods versus firefighting in the city. Yes, New York City firefighters don't need to parachute into a situation.
So with them
but they're still
parachuting,
fighting
that makes
something
them
that's burning.
by them parachuting, that
Yeah.
makes you a smoke jumper. You jump
Sure.
into the okay.
But after that, you got to do something, right? It's not just like you pull in your parachute and wrap it up. Like, hey, that looked cool. All right, go home.
I'm here. I landed. Cool. I'm out.
But this is what they say. So it says the description is like shortly after you jump from the air into the fire,
Yeah.
right? You hit the ground and you're supplied with your parachute has food, water, and firefighting tools to survive for 48 hours.
Okay.
Because you're in the wild.
And
And
she
it's
had
not like-
nothing.
Yeah, so she did. The second kid didn't die.
Yeah, but you were still not prepared for the one job you do.
But she was depressed.
She was
I mean,
Well, she was depressed until the kid said, "Hey, my dad got murdered in front of my eyes, and my mom died of cancer." And she went, "I'm not depressed anymore because
Oh
your
wait,
life
yeah,
sucks."
that was a weird exchange, by the way. She's like, "You just won't let me like just be mopey and sad." He's
Yeah.
always trying to like one up her. Yeah, my dad died and it was random. My dad got shot in the face. I'm like, what?
no, she was like, my dad used to call me buddy. She's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
She's like, you could call me buddy.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I got one name in this movie.
It's like he outdid her trauma, so her trauma went away.
So there
That's
you
what
go.
because she never has the flashbacks anymore. Like when she sees the fire, you think she would flash back to those other kids. No, it's gone. The trauma's gone because oh shit, this kid, his dad got shot in the face, man. I got nothing to complain about now.
I have so many questions. Like, how long has it been since this fire incident? Like,
Oh yeah, we don't get a time frame.
nothing. This happened yesterday.
And I was like, when she mentioned the bathroom situation in the fire tower, I'm like, so where do you use the bathroom?
I was thinking of that. So what's the situation here? We got a bucket or
Yeah, is it
You
just
throw
in
it
the
on the
woods?
fire.
Is this all natural? Like, what was going on?
you have a porta potty?
Is there
Well,
a tree with a
actually,
hole in it? Like, what is going on?
Actually, that's what did upset me is because when she was before the lightning struck the tower and she was talking and they were saying, hey, she said this isn't a party line. She was like, I'll call you from the satellite phone, from the sat phone. So later on, when the kid is like, we could call anyone we want, but the lightning struck and everything's off, you still have the phone.
Yeah,
Why can't
well,
you use the phone?
the thing is, she used up its battery bullshitting outside before she met the kid. So the whole point of that, like, she could have used the radio in the tower, which was
Stop the
powered.
fire.
Yeah, and then she instead decided to bullshit on the satellite phone that then ran out of power conveniently, and they had to go back to the tower, which was now dead because it got struck by lightning.
So now, in theory, Dana, she didn't save those kids, but the second time around, she probably killed some animals, killed some crops. Much more damage because she used up the smoke.
You are terrible.
Yeah, that was her one job. You're in the fire tower. You're supposed to see the fire and call it in.
Yes. But she was depressed again.
so don't be in the fire tower.
Of depression.
You take that whatever, like you take that hazard pay, your veterans benefits, whatever you smoke jumpers get, and you go relax. Go to Fort Lauderdale where that guy's house blew up. Fort Lauderdale's nice. Just don't go where his house blew up and go relax. Get over it. Don't be in a fire tower in the woods.
But it goes with like, those who wish me dead. Maybe it's the ghost that's chasing her and it's depression that is wishing her dead. And then she doesn't fight back until she meets the boy who's more depressed than her.
I don't know. I don't know about this one. This title. No.
I'm trying.
You're trying harder than the director.
It's true.
I'm just, it brings up more questions when I think about it. Like, you did more harm than good in this entire movie.
Yeah, but yeah, it is adapted from a book.
Throw that book away.
Stop it.
I mean, no,
Who
they
the
needed to.
screenwriter wrote it?
Or either they followed the book poorly, or they needed to absolutely revisit the story and adjust it for the screen and make major changes.
Yeah, which has done a ton.
Right, and I thought that the fact that they hired the author of the book to write the screenplay, it would, but no,
I didn't know that.
they hired the author to write the screenplay.
Oh no!
So he adapted his own book,
Oh no!
which just made it even more uninspiring.
Oh no! That's a Fantastic Beast situation now. Oh no!
Well, at least it was interesting in Fantastic Beasts.
No, but the script was.
Yeah, we know the script was questionable.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would. Yeah, so
that's just very odd because, especially with this director, he did Wind River, and I, loved it. He also screen wrote Hell or High Water, which is one of my. So when I come into this movie, I'm thinking I don't like comparing movies, but I'm going to compare your previous work to your current. I'm just like, what happened here? Like, and it makes me think like this was just a side project that was going to be sold to like Netflix or something. And the pandemic came, and they're like, "Yo, I got something for y'all." Yeah, it was sitting on my desk. I have this movie for y'all. Like, here you go. So
it was released normally. It was filmed normally. There was no, pause because of COVID. Everything was shot before COVID, and then they was just waiting to release the movie. And we all know about that Warner Brothers HBO Max deal. They just dumped it there.
Well,
man, we should be more grateful to COVID then, because that's oh boy, that's.
listen, there was a better movie in here somewhere, but they didn't capitalize on it.
I agree. Because her part and her first flashback when she's on top of the tower and she's having a flashback and you see her gripping the
right,
like the railing,
the railing, and I'm like, oh, okay, like we're getting somewhere. And then lightning struck. And she jumped. I was like, this just went to Mission Impossible real quick. Like, what just happened? And then cut scene, and then comes back, and she's like,
on the ground, yeah.
Like, I was with you right now, and then it's like there's a cut somewhere in someone's desk of this movie that's longer. That I'm just like, there's missing something here.
Well, you could start the petition.
I will.
Release the whatever cut.
Release the Sheridan cut.
Yeah. Oh, that's way too long. Damn. It's sad. And like I was explaining to Dana before we started this that this reminded me of Firewatch, and I love Firewatch.
Yeah.
The game, and I'm just like I was getting those vibes, and then it's like, and then I just took a right turn, and I'm like, what just happened now? So
now, like, think about what was the most action-filled scene in this movie?
Was the
kid burning?
No, the wife. The
no,
scene.
It was Jon Bernthal's wife, and them holding her at gunpoint, like her taking them out with a makeshift torch she made out of the spray can, and then getting her deer rifle and shooting her way out, where you have two trained professionals holding a gunpoint, and you're pregnant, and she managed to get out of there.
And she used quickscope.
Failed. That's right.
But she quickscoped, and I'm just like, whoa! Like, and then she got away. We forgot about the sheriff that got shot in the face. That's just hanging outside. No one mentioned him. His body's sitting there.
Listen, he wasn't doing anything useful. He was eating pancakes. Like,
there you go. But other than that, I'm like that scene. I'm like, okay, we could continue with her right now. Like, just carry on. And now she's over here about to fight.
She by herself took out the main assassin. Like, he decided he wanted to kill her, and then she ended up owning him in a gunfight where he had the advantage with an assault rifle, and she has an old bolt-action deer rifle, and she still killed him.
No, but in his defense, he was already dying, and he.
She had shot him already, right? But then she realized he was out of bullets, and it was like a reload reload off or whatever. Like he was trying to reload his gun, and she was putting bullets in.
And he was starting becoming weaker, and he was telling him like, "Hey, I'm fading here."
Right. Well, she still owned him. Either
Yeah.
way, like
Yeah,
she still killed him, and then I almost thought she was gonna catch up to Nicholas Hoult and then kill him too. And then I would have been like, why isn't this her movie? She was the one who killed the assassins.
Well, technically, those who wish me dead, I think it'll be her.
Where's the sequel with her going after Tyler Perry? That's the one I want to see.
With the baby.
Right? Yeah. I mean, yeah, it should be like Lone Wolf and Cub, and she's got the rifle and she goes after Tyler Perry. Think about that. That's already a better movie. I already came up with a better movie than this movie. The sequel will be amazing. Just have her she needs all the revenge. Jay Bernthal is dead. You know, hopefully her baby's okay, because I think riding a horse at 6 months is a questionable decision. Like, I like how she looks at the ATV and she looks at the motorcycle. She's like, nah, that's too dangerous. I'm going to ride the horse. The thing that bounces up and down. Are you sure you want to ride that?
No, but the horse is quiet.
Yeah, I know, but here's the thing. You're still pregnant.
You can still ride a horse when you're pregnant.
Slowly.
I would say that's questionable. It's like trying to ride a roller coaster while you're pregnant. It's not advisable.
Yeah. But then also at the end, with the oxygen tank and she was up there with all the ash and stuff, I'm like,
oh, apparently nobody has breathing issues in this movie. They're in the middle of the fire. There's ash everywhere. The CG ash. They're like, this is fine. Not even sweating. This is the problem with CG fire. Like, listen, you have to act around the situation you're in. Tell these people they're standing in a fire. They should look disheveled. They should look dirty. They should look sweaty. Spray them with some water so they look like, Jesus Christ, like I'm in the middle of a fire. No, they're just like walking like, let's just walk down to the creek.
I just love that when the rescue does come and goes up to Angelina Jolie and the kid, it's not, are you okay? It's like, hey.
Her face is all busted up. Yeah. It's like, did the fire punch you? There's so many questions they should have.
Yeah.
Like, what happened to you?
You took something here. You got a black eye? What?
Yeah.
Cool.
And the kid had like one cut. Let's check that.
Yeah, he's like, he looked at the kid like, yeah, we should get that checked out. We should get both of you checked out immediately. Like, what's going on? Oh, here's a bottle of water. Thanks. You have one bottle of water?
Yeah, they only gave him one to share.
Just like, what is going on here? You guys are not cold. You guys are in the water. You guys are dry. But the whole night you stood under water.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. No one's sneezing.
Data's like, I still have hope.
I thought it was okay to watch at home.
No, I still thought it was like, it was entertaining a bit. But I was like, yeah, this was.
I think why I was so upset is like there was a better movie in here, and then I saw that Littlefinger and Nicholas Hoult and Jay Bernthal, they were all trying really hard. I was not happy with Angelina Jolie. I was like, you're not trying. And then I was pissed because I'm like, there could have been scenes explaining things, but I bet they had to pay you because they want your name on this movie. You got top billing, even though the movie's not about you. You're the star.
Fun fact, the real star of this movie, especially with this ending fight here, is the tree that's like blocking them. That tree was MVP. This is one tree they're just dancing around.
Yeah, total cover. It's like video game logic. It's like, just take cover. He can't see her.
Yeah. But even here, it's weird because she's not thinking about the fire that's all around her that she's traumatized with or anything. It's just, that's all gone now. So after this entire acres of land that's all burnt and stuff, she's over here smiling like it was beautiful. What? Okay.
Completely over her trauma. She also stabs Nicholas Hoult like she was Lara Croft. She hits him with this like pickaxe thing she has.
Yeah.
And then she does the one-liner. It's like, oh, the fire will do the job for me. And then the fire conveniently crawls over to him.
That fire was too fast.
Yeah.
That fire was like, I got it from here, guys.
Yeah. It just crawled over to him, burned him, and they're standing there. Yeah, well, no, that was to create the chase scene. The fire conveniently sped up, but just enough so they could run and have an action scene where they dive into the creek, to avoid it. That's like some True Lies Arnold shit, where he's over in the fire, jump in the water.
Oh, man.
Gosh.
So that
Upset
was
we never
fun.
got a sequel to that one. It was a good movie. But yeah, so you guys completely hated it.
But that's the weird thing. I actually didn't. It's not something I'm going to watch again.
Yeah, I just think it had potential, and I did like the it's like I shouldn't be rooting for the bad guys, but they had the better part of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like
They
Yeah.
did.
everything around them, I was like, oh, this is interesting. It's like, and the way they played it, like they played the characters like I would expect. Like they were cold killers, right? The guy takes flares out of his car, so like, I'm going to create a distraction, just throws them in the woods. He knew what he was doing. He just
Mhm.
created a forest fire, and he's like, yeah, all right, now I'm going to go kill some people. I'm going to shoot a kid, and it's like I believe it, like
But
because they did the acting well.
but it was weird because they're okay with killing the kid, but they wouldn't kill the pregnant lady because she was pregnant. Remember, he kept asking, "How far along are you?"
No, he was using that he was using that to use that against her. He was like, so I want you to think about that baby when answering these
So, do
questions.
you think he would have actually killed her?
I mean, judging by the characters that we were like, he shot that random lady in a car, point blank range. I think he
Yeah.
would. I think he would have.
Oh.
Yeah, I think they were selling the cold killer thing quite well.
Yeah. I mean, Jay Barenthal calls him out when he's like, "You could live to see your daughter," and he's like, "Bullshit! You're not gonna let me
Yeah,
live."
yeah.
He knew, and it's like that's your sign. He's not gonna let any of them live. They would
But,
just clean them all up
but when he
afterwards.
did say like, "I'm gonna make you kill the kid," I was like, "Oh, not a bad
Yeah.
idea. Not, not a bad idea." I'm looking around like we're in agreement. Not a bad idea. So he's like, "We're gonna make you climb the tower and see if they're there." I'm like, "Yeah, look, all right, that's a damn good idea. All right, these guys are good," but it just didn't work out.
Yeah. Well, I got, I guess like a star.
Fire doesn't travel this fast.
Yes. Have you ever seen Backdraft?
Yes,
So
long
then
time.
it does travel that fast.
No, but the wind doesn't just pick up in a second. And it's like, here we go, guys. After she finishes her, I'm gonna let the fire take over. All right, thanks.
Oh.
I got it from here. It's like what just happened?
She detected the wind was gonna change.
Yeah. See. Yup. Here it comes. It's coming, guys. Let's go. Wrap it up, boys. We got it.
Good heavens. All right. Well, anything else that you guys want to say about this master class of a movie?
I think it's weird to put this in a sentence, but I'm thinking of like the older people, like my dad and stuff like that would watch this movie and be like, "Yeah, this was a good time." Like this would be a movie that would be on like CW on a Sunday night randomly, and the old folks would be like, "Yo, this was not bad."
Pix 11.
Picks.
Back
Yeah,
in
yeah. It's like
Pix back in the
I
day.
I totally see that.
I said,
I
yeah.
I had high hopes that the horse would come back and save the kid. Like it would just ride through the fire, and that's how they outran the fire. It would literally be this random horse from the middle
What
of the
did
movie.
happen to the horse?
I don't know. They just left it.
It's
Oh, that horse is
Wouldn't that
done.
be great if it was just running there in the fire, and then they climb on its back, and it outruns the fire?
That would have made sense.
I mean, just commit to it. You had her get struck by lightning, or almost get struck by lightning twice. Why not have a random horse show up and save them?
That's
Like,
true. You know.
just have fun with it.
I was gonna say, well, the spirit of the kids come and help her. Yeah, no.
Wow. The
No.
dead kids.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's why the fire crawled towards us and instantly burned him. It's not like he burned a little. It's like they poured gasoline on him. He just
And
instantly
it's
caught
so fast.
fire.
And that's what I'm just like, wait a minute, that was fast. And then he start doing the shake. I'm like, damn, that was fast. So wow. There goes the beast.
No, maybe it was because of the hairspray. Remnants of the hairspray.
No, well, the other guy caught the hairspray. He caught a little bit. The other guy got really burned by the hairspray.
Yeah, I got him in the eyes.
Yeah.
And he had the marks on the eyes.
Yeah, he had the marks on his eyes, but he didn't get a lot of it. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
he would have had to been soaking in gasoline to go up like that.
Yeah. Or whatever that suit was made out of.
Ah, polyester.
Yeah.
There you
Or
go.
maybe it was a trap by Tyler Perry.
Ooh. Medea did it.
Plot thickens.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
He knew they couldn't do the job, so he just took them out.
So the sequel will be like Those Who Saw Me Die. Will be the sequel. It will be the sequel.
And
Those
what
Who
would
Saw
have
Me
been what
Die.
would have been a great ending, because like I felt the movie just ended. You see the helicopters fly at the smoke and then it ends. I'm like, really? We're not even going to see the interview? We're not going to have shots of CNN and everybody talking about this breakthrough,
No.
this kid and the letter, and oh my god. And then wouldn't it be nice if the movie ended showing a TV with Tyler Perry getting arrested and maybe some names on the screen like, oh, Senator so and so is in trouble and blah blah blah.
No, that's too fast. It's just to start the investigation from the DA's office.
Well, it would have been nice to see something besides helicopters flying at a fire.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
you're a
because
little
he
late,
made it.
guys. You're a
He
little
made
late.
it so urgent. Like you have to get this to the newspaper,
Yes,
the television.
you want to see the result of that. That was the whole point of this. You talked to the news. You didn't even see. You saw the news van pull up, but you didn't see him talk to them.
They were just there for the fire. No, seriously. No, they were just I'm just serious. They were there reporting the fire.
Yeah.
And then
Oh
they're
my
just gonna be like,
gosh.
oh hey, this kid wants to talk to you. Perfect. Plot convenience. All right, well, what's up? Yeah, I got this paper my dad told me to give you. It's like a Burger King menu. Oh, cool. Whatever. Something random.
Yeah, it would have been nice to know what it was.
Also, wouldn't it have been comical if he pulls out the paper and it's like ashes because he was just in the middle of a fire?
Well, yeah, you figured they jumped into the lake.
Yeah.
They was in the water, around the fire.
For hours.
Ashes was just everywhere. Embers.
But I hope you didn't write that with a pencil. That's gone. That's gone. That's like someone's bank account is like faded the second half. It's like, oh damn.
Did you ever try to pick up notebook paper if it falls in a puddle and how it just disintegrates?
Mush. Yeah, it's mush. And he was in there for hours. So those who want me dead, they still want you dead, bro. They still coming. You lost your element.
So this basically made no sense.
That just ruined everything now.
That made no sense. Well, they tried.
Wait, time out. Wait, hold on. Are we still sure he had the paper still on him? Because he gave it to Angelina Jolie.
I thought she gave it back to him.
Did he? Did she?
Yeah. She read it, had no reaction, and just handed it back to him. I go, oh, we're leaving tonight. That's about all that came of her reading
Something
it.
tells me, I have no recollection of this.
That's I guess is the general consensus of the whole movie. I have no recollection of this.
Well, I mean, these two guys, they're the one guy. Well, in their defense, they do start like, okay, hey, there's some kids over there, which happens right now. There's someone over there. All right, I go check them out. Okay, thanks. Yeah. Oh wait here. Wait, there's someone over there. What? Yeah. I'm just
so cold-blooded, so mean. Sheesh. Well, at least it was, you didn't have to pay an extra $30.
This is true.
So that's a good plus. They didn't premium access it.
Well, I mean, that's only for us here in America.
Well, they have theaters and their stuff is open over there.
That's the problem. They're going to be upset.
Yeah. Imagine if this was through Disney Plus and they put this on premium access. We had to pay to talk about this. I would be really irate.
They're joking. They're joking. They're smiling. Got a little knot here, bud.
Meanwhile, she looks like freaking Floyd Mayweather went crazy on her. It's like, what the hell happened to you? Oh, busted up. What happened?
What tree did this to you? We're gonna find that tree. What happened here?
It is the mob, by the way.
It is the mob?
It is the mob.
They're not government?
No. See, what happened is the Blackwell employer is the mob boss, Arthur Phillip. So it's the mob that they're running from.
Well, that's terrible conveyance.
Well, actually, that does make sense because there was a point where we're saying we could go to the police, and they're like, no, we can't.
There you go.
But
As Owen dies,
wouldn't that be distrusting government instead of like why would you care if it's a mob? Why wouldn't you go to the cops? If it was government, you could be like, I can't trust anyone. Nobody saw State of the Union or the Net. You can't. It's like that's how it works. If it's the government, it's like, yeah, I can't go to anyone. That would make more sense why he could only trust Jay Barenthal as an authority, because it'd be like, oh, everyone else is on the take, or the feds are listening to everything, and then these guys will find out and come get me. You know, that thing. It's like the mafia doesn't have this like overarching like eyes everywhere. But if it's the government, then you're like, oh shit, they got eyes everywhere, and I can't go here and I can't go there. I have to go in the middle of the woods and find one guy to help me.
So what it is the two brothers, they work for the boss.
Yeah.
The guy who they're trying to kill has the evidence against the boss.
But why didn't the dad say that? The dad said, what I have would take down governors and senators, and that's where I
Because
got the
the
idea.
governors and the senators work with the mob.
Okay, well, this is a terrible book that is translated into a terrible movie.
You know,
I have even less respect for this movie now.
I have a question. Do we know what year this book released?
Yes, this book released in hold on, I have to actually look this up because
because if this was like the 90s or 80s, this makes sense. But today, he could have just got on that laptop, wrote a blog, dished all this out.
2014.
Oh, yeah. No, he has no excuse.
So we had
internet. I could have put this on a blog. I could have sent it to the news in an email.
2014.
Done. Movie's over in 2 scenes. House still blows up.
Yeah. But yep, that's the book, and therefore that's the movie.
Are you kidding me? If I was that guy, I would have had a kill switch in 2 seconds. It's like, dude, if you see on the news that my house blows up, send this email to every reporter on planet Earth, right? And that's it. I'm gonna give you a thumb drive. I'm gonna give you a Blu-ray disc. Mail it everywhere.
I'm putting this on MySpace. I'm putting this on Skullnex. I'm putting this everywhere.
It would be everywhere. It would be done. And it's like, that's it. If they kill me, it doesn't matter. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
And
Now here's where I get a little. Now this brings up another question. If you are a forensics accountant or
that's what he said, accountant.
Yeah, wouldn't in your line of work wouldn't they be prepared for something like this? Couldn't you just call your boss?
They would. You
just call your boss and be like, "Yo, scan these papers. Just hold on to it."
I don't know, but also they changed it from the book drastically. So in the book, the kid is 14 when he witnesses a brutal murder, and he through that he's issued a false identity, and he now lives in the woods where he learns his wilderness skills.
So wait, he just survives by himself in the book?
In the book, it says when 14-year-old Jace Wilson witnessed a brutal murder, he's plunged into a new life, issued a false identity, and hidden into the wilderness skills program for troubled kids, which we never saw. The plan is to get Jace off the grid while police find the 2 killers.
You had me in the first half.
So this is what it says. The result is the start of a nightmare. The killers, known as the Blackwell brothers, not brothers-in-law, are slaughtering anyone who gets in their way in a methodical quest to reach him. Now all that remains between them and the boy are Ethan and Allison Scarib, who run the wilderness survival program.
But
Hannah.
This is what I said. Why weren't they the main characters?
Hannah occupies a lonely fire outlook tower and endless miles of desolate Montana mountains. The clock is ticking, the mountains are burning, and those who wish Jace dead are no longer far behind him. That makes more sense than the movie.
Did I see that movie?
Yeah. Wait, and you had the author write the screenplay, and somehow you got this?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, that's different.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, this is a more interesting story. How did we not get this?
$20 million was the only budget. I don't know. Depression.
Depression. That's the problem. Your whole budget with Angelina Jolie.
No mention of dead kids or anything. That it sounds like it starts off. It kind of feels like No Country for Old Men.
Yeah.
Like the killers would have been like that Old Country for No Men kind.
Yeah, and it's just a chase thing, you know.
Mhm.
That would have been a better movie, and maybe the kid would have done Home Alone in the woods, and then you have the wife being badass, like she was in the movie, but only a little bit because she doesn't have a lot of screen time either.
Mhm.
I di- ah nah
Yeah,
nah
that's a missed
this
opportunity there.
everything you're telling me just makes this movie worse.
You could have had the firefighter, the Angelina Jolie, team up with the survivalist,
You
trying
didn't
to
even
get
need the smoke jumper shit.
That's true.
You didn't
You
need
didn't
any
need
of it.
you
She
didn't
could
need
have just
any
been
of that.
retired because she was too traumatized, and that would have just been it.
Yes, it's like, hey, I've breathed in too much smoke. I've seen too much fire. I'm just sitting in this fire tower, and that's it. That's my life. And then meet the kid and whatever. And you didn't need star power for someone to play that role. You just need a competent actor to do that. And then you had a chase movie. You had a chase movie. This movie had cars and no chasing in it,
There was a lot of driving.
but no chases.
Yeah.
They
How do you
chased
have
the
cars and
pavement.
no chases? They're just
There was a
going from place to
horse.
place. There was a horse that no one rides.
There was a horse
The
he pet.
survival wife rides a horse into the darkness for a second.
Yeah, that's very. Yeah. Damn, that's bad. That's bad now. That's bad now. Wow.
Yeah. So that was what it was based on, and we got this instead.
The kid should have looked like John Rambo from First Blood. He should have been wearing a burlap sack with leaves all over it, hiding in the woods, and he should have just stabbed one of the Blackwell brothers with some trap he made. Just impale him in a tree.
Ugh.
Should have looked like that. Did you ever see First Blood?
I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, you remember that when he was out in the woods.
Yeah, it's. I'm just trying to think of like the changes made from the book, and I'm just like, where? Why did we do this? I understand if you don't want to make the kid, violent and stuff, and I mean
They made
violent.
Home Alone. That was a really violent movie if you look at it.
Yeah, but today you can't make Home Alone now. You get canceled.
Yeah, but they could have did something with the kid because the whole time he was like, "Rivers run to lakes and towns."
My thing
That
is
was
just
it.
like, if you want to make Angelina Jolie your main character, I'm just like, this is what you gave her. Like, this isn't the first. Like I was saying before, like I was just confused at the first few scenes because I'm just like, things are just happening, and I'm just like,
And then now I mean I like how Nicholas Hoult and the other guy, they're good actors, but they should not, now that you told me that, they should not have been the Blackwell brothers. The Blackwell brothers needs to be somebody like Dave Bautista and some other dude. They need to be just rugged looking motherfuckers who could just snap you in half.
yeah,
Like when I think of guys who can slaughter anyone in their way, I don't think of professionals with like all sorts of crazy firearms, like they had lasers on their guns and all this stuff. That's where I got the government stuff from. I'm like, how does the mafia have like high tech artillery on them? And they even had a computer. Remember, they were checking the driver's licenses
yeah,
to see which one was him on the road. That's
yeah.
why I thought they were government. Where does the mafia have stuff like that?
It's a
These
high tech.
movies.
It's the
But that's too high tech.
technology.
That's ridiculous. They're checking license plates tapped into the DMV with some satellite connection. That's bullshit.
They got hackers.
Listen, Old Country for No Men, all that guy had is the air ram that used to kill cows. That's how he was killing people. He didn't need a fucking computer. That's it. He just find you. And he was scary. That's what you need. You need
Yeah,
Javier Bardem type guy, like scary, like he's a killer just by looking at him.
Yep. Yep.
Nicholas Hoult looks like a baby. He just needs a gun. And it's like, oh, I guess he's dangerous because he has a gun
And a hard hat.
and a hard hat. He has a hard hat.
he had a fire poker at one point.
Now,
He had the
Littlefinger, he
vest.
looks like he would kill people. Like he had this stern look on his face all the time.
Right.
He was squinting a lot, but but he doesn't look ominous. Like you could tell, like, okay, he's a killer, but he doesn't look ominous. Like you need that guy. You need somebody to put out that vibe. Like, yeah, this guy could kill you, even if he was relaxing. Like if this guy's in a hot tub, you think he would kill you. Like even if he was relaxed.
Okay.
That works too. So, but I think that just made the movie even worse.
Yeah.
That way, God, knowing what the book was about.
Yeah.
I was coming in a little positive on it, and I'm like, yeah, no.
I'm bummed too. The author made the screenplay. The author, you wrote this. How did you change it so badly?
Yeah. I'm trying to process that in my head right now. So bad.
Yep. So I guess that's our review of
Yeah.
the glorious "Those Who Wish Me Dead." You can check it out in all of its fire glory on what is it, HBO Max,
It's on
Yeah.
HBO Max.
not Pix 11.
Yo, I'm sorry. You mulliganed your own book. You had a do-over, and you mulliganed it right into the toilet. Like,
Yeah.
that's insane to me. My mind hurts.
Well, maybe the sequel will be better.
Yo, I don't want a sequel to this.
Yeah, I don't want a sequel to it either. I don't want a sequel to it either.
I wish this movie dead. Let's just end it. This is over.
That's a good one. So, any final words?
I had a few. I still
You
don't
had a
want
few.
to. I had a few. Now they're
I had
changed.
a
But
few.
I will solely say I enjoyed the score of this movie.
Yes,
So,
I'll agree. I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that. And I think the acting by the Blackwell brothers guys, Holt, the Littlefinger guy, Jay Barenthal, the lady who played his wife, the kid. That's
Mhm.
about it. Angelina Jolie looked like she could care less. Could not care less about that role. She just was bored from beginning to end. She didn't even react. She reads a paper. Did somebody not say, "Hey, there's some heavy shit on that paper. Can you look surprised?" Do you look surprised? Just handed you some major shit. Just looked like, "Oh yeah, okay, we're gonna go now."
Well,
Yeah.
I thought it was again. It's free if you already subscribe to HBO Max. So that's a plus. You know, that is a plus. So I will say that it's only an hour 30 minutes. It goes by really quickly. So that's another plus. And you got some good CGI fire that chases you. So that's another plus. And a horse. Everyone loves horses.
2 horses.
2 horses. There you
There's
go.
yeah, you got 2 horses.
They don't tell you this, but in the book they were brothers. They don't tell you this. And that's why he didn't attack the kid when he. You see?
Yeah. So, anything you guys would like to plug, Mr. Plunko?
All good. My Twitter handle right there.
Right there. Mr. Seeley?
You can catch me on Throwdown every Thursday and Sunday.
Mhm. And also, you can catch us. Our stuff is over at the Koalition, thecoalition.com with a K. Just came out of the Cruella press conference, so we'll have that up, and the Cruella review, which should be up when I think the 24th, when the embargo breaks. I can't say anything about it, but at least no one wished them dead.
I actually think the embargo went up for that yesterday. I believe. Don't quote me on that. I heard some things yesterday. Don't quote me on that.
I think that was a social media embargo.
Oh,
but
sorry.
Like the full review. So you're trying to make me get fired, and Disney's gonna come and wish me dead.
Yeah,
So.
I heard they
And that was still be a
retconned.
better movie.
Yeah, it leaked that they retconned her into a smoke jumper, and that's why half her hair is white.
So we have that, and we'll be back next week with a hopefully far superior movie, Army of the Dead. So zombie tigers. Yay!
Yeah.
See, you can tell the high pitchedness of his voice. He's excited.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that movie looks like balls to the wall action. Like that, Zack Snyder will not let you down with action.
No, and he doesn't have Warner Brothers controlling him as he keeps, putting out articles every day. I'm free! So he's free to do what he wants. There's no Snyder cut for this one, he
Warner Brothers wanted him dead.
Him and Ray Fisher.
Oh,
Fisher was too black. So we have that. And stay tuned for other news as well. A whole bunch of TV shows got canceled. So yay. Yay. So see you guys next week, which hopefully will be a much better movie. And have a great day, afternoon, evening, and thank you for watching us.
See you guys.
Hey, take care.